Hello everyone, Dafton here again. So we are going to finish touching up the Ishmael model that we were working on in the previous video. We're finally going to export it, and then in the next video we will make a mod and put it to the game. But before we do that, we have a few things to address. So let's pick up where we left off. Okay, so on the FMDL Studio Wiki you can find a guide to how to export an FMDL. I will be going through this with you. Basically, we're gonna follow this guide. You can, of course, read up on it. You will have the link in the description below. Okay, so without any further ado, we are going to go to Unity. We still have Ishmael in the asset folder, so let's drag him up here. Okay, here he is, without the bandages, but fully modeled. Okay, so let's see what he is about. He has 41 meshes, or 40 meshes because of the numbering. If you can remember, we deleted one mesh. But there is still something here that I don't like. Let's see what it is. Or what is part of. Oh! Can we just focus on you? Okay, so mesh 37. Mesh 37 seemed to be a pin that was holding together. Yeah, the bandages. Okay, what can we do now about this? Of course, we don't want that to float around. So the simplest solution is just to, like we did in 3ds Max, we can do it here in Unity too, is to just select the mesh, right click, delete, and even if we are continue, we will continue even if we are breaking prefab. That's not gonna cause any issues for us now. Okay, so what we need now is to give him textures. To do that, we're going to re-import the original FMDL file for Ishmael. That is in asset, ppp, characters, ish, scene. There he is. Okay, open it. This one, the FMDL, since we are not gonna need it, we can, or not gonna need it, we're not gonna import it. We can move him. Be in line with us. Okay, cool. And then what we are going to do is basically just drag and drop the materials from meshes to mesh. So 0 dash mesh root will have the material from Ishmael's 0 dash mesh root. To do this quickly, I'm not aware of a method, so this is kind of a grueling work, but you need to click here and drag and drop it up here, or you can drag and drop it on the model itself, but since some meshes can collide, you can easily misapply it. Okay, to make it a little bit more quicker, we can use the arrow keys to jump between meshes. So what I'm going to do now is to jump to mesh 1 and apply it, jump to mesh 2, apply, jump to mesh 3, apply, and so on and so forth. I'm going to finish this here. Then I will talk about the Fox model component, fixing tangents. Okay, for that time, I'm just going to mute myself, and I end up cropping it out. Okay, so if you happen to make a mistake and let's say I have 37, 39, 39. As you can see, 37 uses a different material than 38 or 39. And let's say that I'm a little forgetful and actually pull 37 over 39. You can see that the material is not correct. Okay, what can we do about this? There is nothing to worry about here, because all we have to do is grab the correct one and apply that. Yeah, so as long as you have the material intact somewhere, you can override this anytime you want. Okay, the last two bits are 40 and 41. So I should have made the point that fixing tangents should be your first priority when you import an FBX file. But I didn't do it because if I do it without the model having any textures, you will not see the difference. So if I come up here and look at this hospital wall, and look at Ishmael's, they have some slight differences. Yeah, the slight differences can be fixed by just simply fixing the tangents. And now the textures correctly apply on the model. Okay, so next one up our value will be Fox model component. So in the previous video I talked about how you can just drag and drop Fox model component. This will not work here because the original Ishmael mesh has 2 meshes more than what our Reddit has. This should not be a problem because we can manually set up the Fox model component. So what we're going to do now is first let's take a look at the mesh definitions. We will talk about mesh root groups and all the other stuff a little bit later when it becomes relevant. For now it's not. So as we can see, element 0, therefore 0-mesh root underscore root is in mesh root group. There's no alpha but has shadow. Okay, we are going to look through these, and as you can see there are multiple selectable ones. So what we should be aiming for is when we set up the Fox model component for FBX, we should try to match what the original meshes had for their Fox model component. So let's see if element 3, therefore 2-mesh root has the properties of parasite, no shadow, we are better apply it here too. So this is another grueling work if we are not migrating the whole Fox model component. So I might end up just doing that, migrating the Fox model component, even if I said I will try to establish it by myself. But I have no desire to go through 41 elements, and I have no desire to pull you through this. So I will just copy the Fox model component and remove the 2 elements. Okay, so select Ishmael FMDL, click on Fox model component, drag and drop on our FBX file. Now if I open it up, everything got carried over. That's good. But it has 41 elements. So it does not account for the missing elements. Sure. So we can say that the last 2 meshes are both invisible mesh with visible shadows. Element 39, which we have intact here, is alpha, no shadow. but we also deleted these two. So 37 and 38. Therefore, the new element 38 is element 39. So what we're gonna do about it is just copy these. So element 39 has alpha no shadow. Element 37 in our case also has alpha no shadow. Cool. So for element 38 we need to have it no alpha, invisible mesh, and mesh shadow is the group. So mesh shadow is the group, no alpha, invisible mesh, no shadow. Repeat it here. And to delete these two, we come here to mesh definitions, and we can see that the mesh definitions is 42 in size. Therefore, the mesh definitions match the number of meshes that there are in the model. So if there are 42 meshes here and we deleted 2, that means we only have 40. We reduce the size to 40. And as you can see, oh, it didn't update it. So we only have 40 meshes. Good. For now we can also delete Ishmael, because we don't need him anymore. Let's check on the Fox model component again. Mesh definitions, 40 mesh definitions. Yes, and it's updated. So you can see it only goes up to element 39 now. And these are the last 3. So 39, it's 8C95. It's matching again. So Fox model component is basically set up. Alright. What else could we modify on Ishmael? This can be done here in Unity. We're going to give him a nicer hospital ward. So we open one of these. It uses the tension body or tension leg, because these are using the same texture. But we will need to modify all materials. So just giving it a custom texture here in the assets is not enough. We need to replace all instances of the texture in all the materials. So first I'm going to see the tension leg right, tension leg left, tension body. Okay, these are the ones that I'm aware of that will have this texture. Okay, so how do we locate this texture? You come here to the materials tab, and here double click on the tile, and it will give us the place where it is. So it's in asset TPP character Ishmael picture Ishmael 0 where 0 definition BSL. Okay, we could just right click here and import new asset, but first I would like to track it down, because if I click here down in Unity, this little inspector window will closes and I will lose track of what it is. So I'm coming back here, unpacked files, or not even unpacked files, convert to textures, because as we know Unity only can work with DDS files. So we're going to do asset, TPP, character, Ishmael, pictures. We are now going to set it to E. Okay. So Ishmael where? Ishmael B, C, F, W, where def underscore BSN. Where def underscore BSN. Okay, here it is. What we are going to do now is copy the file path. Here in asset, we are going to create a new folder called TPP. in TPP, we are going to create a new folder. For this, we're going to call it ish new texture, and inside ish new texture we're going to import the texture we just drag down, which is ish 0 underscore var 0 underscore def bsn. Okay, here it is. What we are going to do now is to come back here to the materials, and here is this tile, and here is our texture. This will be our custom texture. So we click on this, keep on clicking, because otherwise it will jump away from the material. So keep on clicking and drag it here on the tile. And to have it display correctly, on the y-axis, from -1, change it to 1. Okay, it will display correctly. Okay, so we need to do it for tension left leg, oh sorry, leg right, yeah, it doesn't matter. We do the same thing. As you can see, if the tiling is off, it will offset the texture. These will appear correctly every time in game. This is only an editor error that we need to address. It makes it far more easier to actually edit the textures. Here again. Okay, so now Ishmael's cool green coat, or whatever it is, should be using custom textures. But we should do something about this. So we are going to edit this texture. And to edit the texture, we're going to use Adobe Photoshop. But before we just using Adobe Photoshop, you should download the NVIDIA texture tools for Adobe Photoshop. You will have a link in the description for this. This is an extension that you will have to install for Photoshop, so it can edit and use DDS files. Okay, so if you will, for a moment, I'm going to sneeze, so I'm gonna mute myself. Alright, sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, so now we have Adobe Photoshop open. What we are going to do now is right click here and we click on Show in Explorer. Here is the folder with the texture. So what we are going to do now is right click on the texture. We're going to open it in Photoshop. These are the loading settings that you should use. So load using default size and leave everything here. Okay, here it is. We can do whatever we wish with this texture right now. So I'm going to do a little wild thing. And first, go by color range. Not color range. Let's try to select these parts, because these parts we will not modify, or better yet, modify differently. So again, make another layer. What we are going to do now is making it a little fancy. So we are going to give it a pattern overlay of leopard, because just why not? I'm trying to find something that's good. Maybe dolphin? No. Lighten? No. Okay, we stay with overlay. Sorry, we stay with overlay. Okay, desaturize. Perfect. Okay, for the slippers, I think we're just going to go and play with the color balance. So we are gonna make him a little ridiculous. Yeah, cool. Okay, so we are basically finished with editing the texture. we're going to save the texture. Okay, so how should we save the texture? We should save it right now with dxt1, no alpha. Yeah. And on Bob's website, I believe, it tells us how to save them. If it's not, then my apologies. Yeah, it's not here. Anyway, we should be okay with these settings. So also image options, copy the settings if you have to. Cool. So now while the texture is saving, we will instantly see it take effect in Unity. So just let it save. If you come back to Unity, excellent. Really pretty. Okay, so basically our model is finished. In the next video we will pack it up with Makebyte, so it will be ready for installation. Alright, thank you for your attention, and see you next time.